So let's move on to the sea. Yeah, really happy with the way this is going. So you see, we've done the sky. Um, and what's interesting for me is that normally I tend to put different colours into the sea to differentiate it with the blues, etc., etc. Um, yeah, all the noises in the background are because I've got the windows open, which I wouldn't normally do. It's just like really warm at the moment. So the sea, same approach. I'm going to find, I'm maybe going to put a bit more green into it, but actually, I don't need to. I'm going to stick with this blue feeling just because what I would normally do maybe is put more pink in the sky. I've got the balance of the picture with the pink and the reds in the beach. And so I'm not going to go overboard with the greens in the sea because I really like the balance of this picture so far. So um, here we go. Here we go. So we've got the Prussian blue. It's amazing what you can do with the primary colours, isn't it? So I'm just going to change to a slightly smaller brush like this. I mean, they're not anything special, these brushes, I can promise you. It's just, in fact, it's fine. The main thing you want with the brush is that all the hairs don't fall off it and stuff. That's what you really want. So, right, so I'm just mixing up some blue with the white more rather than doing it in a dotty fashion. And I'm going to put a little bit of yellow in there as well, just a little bit, but not just a hint. So I'm going to work the other way around now because I'm going to work from far out at sea into, so the far out at sea is here. I'm going to, so we're going to have it slightly darker. I'm trying to explain what I'm doing. What I'm doing is I've mixed here some light blue, and there's like my Prussian blue. So I've got a nice big blob of Prussian blue. I'm just going to work from dark to light from that horizon into there. Putting some yellows on the way. So it's like, so here we go. It's a bit darker out here. Yeah, I've got some reds in here as well. So reds and yellow, just bits and pieces, because actually all of those colours are in the sea, and it depends what's happening in the sky. Now, interestingly, I see more reds and greys in this when the sky is blue, quite often. And when it's got cloud and white, it sort of brings out bits of green and stuff as well. So that's a bit too much yellow. Yeah, so you just sort of touch around in your box and just take little bits of colours. Don't panic if you get a colour on it because we can always come back to it. So I'm getting sort of purples and stuff in here as well. There's a bit of yellow, you see. Same with the blue, a bit more Prussian blue up the top there. So you and a little bit of water, but like I say, not so much because the same thing that happened with the sky will start to happen with the sea. We can start to, now we know it's going to be darker under the pier, don't we? So we're going to get a bit of the darker blue, the Prussian blue underneath that pier that we're going to deal with. Just it's sort of kind of like, and then get some white and mix it on. Mix it on the canvas. But like I say, you don't need to go bonkers with the water. If the paint starts working, if it stops working and your brush is dragging on the canvas, then we need to get some water, yeah? So Yeah, so if your brush is dragging on the canvas, but try to leave that until it really is dragging on the canvas. And we can keep going backwards and forwards, and then we can start this motion. Like this motion is suggesting waves. It's a suggestion of waves, but the energy itself goes into the painting. So it's like you're doing what the sea does. It's easier to see with the white, yeah? Like, so I've done some white there to show you what I mean. So it's like a flick of the wrist, flick of the wrist. So what we want to do is have like a bit of light underneath these pier shadows, a bit of light. So yes, I know you're not all painting the pier, but it's sort of the same techniques, the same ideas carry through to whatever you're painting, whatever you're painting. So what, you know, by module 4, basically, you've got an idea. You've been working with the paint. It's not strange to you. You know about working at the right height. You know about paint being wet. You know about paint being, working with it when it's drying out. You know all of these things. You've learnt loads and stacks. The idea of getting the painting that you want is the reason why you'll go and do another painting, another painting, another painting, because that will never, well, I hope you'll continue to do it and that you really enjoy it. So you see I'm putting some light in there, get a bit more blue. I'm trying to paint and talk at the same time. There's some blue there, that's well right. And now if I get some of the yellow, which is sort of mixed in with the yellow with the blue, but it's more blue than there. You see, we've got a nice bit of, it's a little breeze blowing out today, I reckon, on this painting, which there wasn't when I went to Worthing. But I'm a bit of, but it's still not rough. See already the little bits of white and little bits of stuff is giving it. So it's like you feel your way through the painting, feel your way. Feel your way through the painting. Let's get some of this. There we go. So like little bits of yellow in there as well. Give it this greeny. And you start to get the sea, yeah? You're just adding little bits of yellow now. I'm not rushing to get the water because this bottom corner I've sort of neglected, I think, a bit. So we've got a nice dark to light. I need to stand back. See, I need to listen to what I'm telling you to do. Right, stand back so you can get a really, and also I want some variation. I want a bit of drama, but it's subtle drama on this painting. I might even have a stick in this. Yeah, no, I'm not going to. You see, sometimes I might. There, you see the front of the picture is nice and light, so we're going for the white, which by now in your box should be covered with little bits of blue, etc. Hi, I'm getting engrossed here. Yeah, so it's like coming in, the sea's coming in, it's a little bit of active seeness. So it's all set really for us to be able to work on our focal points. Notice I'm just painting over these dark marks I've made. But as the paint dries, specifically with acrylics, very much so with acrylics, as it dries, it usually if you brush it around enough, you'll be able to see the marks that you put there before. And when we go to the focal points, we can, it means those dark marks that we've put in the sea and stuff, or wherever we're doing it, they get much more character if they're sort of covered up, and then you paint where they were, because you can just about tell where they are when you're close to them. See? So we've got nice, we've got a dark, we've got sort of greys and greens, we've got a bit of shadow underneath the back ends of the Worthing Pier. And this is like, we lose the shadow a bit because there's a bit of activity, because there's a strong breeze, which is like reflected in the sky. And we've got a nice feeling there, a really nice feeling, I think. I'm just going to have a look if I need to. So we stand back and have a look. If I need to make any adjustments, that's fine. We do it. So I'm going to have a look. So here I am at the back. Great. I'm really pleased with that. Can you see like the atmosphere? I'll just see if I can hold it up to you a bit better to the camera. Oh, I think you can see it pretty well there. But I can hold the top end of it without getting covered in paint, I think. It's just, now I want to get the canvas off, of course I can't. Right. So yeah, so the sky that we did before and the sea, they've got like a, they're working together really nicely, aren't they? And so, oh, just move it the right way. Yeah, and also we've got the foreground that's really pretty damn nice already. But as we put more highlights in to the foreground and into like the main part of the piece, which is this Worthing Pier, it will just bring out all this drama. This is where the painting, you suddenly get really excited, putting all the little details in, and the little touches that make it draw people into the painting, because we're sort of, what we're doing, we're telling a story. And what are we telling a story of? We're telling a story of our life. We're sharing our life. We're sharing our impression of things. We're not trying to recreate a photograph of a photograph. What we're trying to do is like all of this interchange, all of this bonds that we're making even through this, these heart-to-heart bonds become part of this painting and become part of your painting. So we've started module 4. We're going to go and do the pier, and then we'll do the foreground. So the pier is like the main piece for me. You'll have a main piece by now. You will have decided what the main piece for you is. The foreground will be your fence, your gate, your chair, whatever it is. Bench, tree. For me, it's the foreground is like the breakwaters and the beach. But now you've got an idea of the balance between all the different parts of the picture. And then, of course, we'll just put the final touches in, which is like the focal point for me. I've got a focal point here, which is like a pole that goes into the water, which I've like ignored. And you'll have a lovely painting. Awesome.